well, when I find those raptors, I'm gonna rip their wings and legs off and feed them to a Rex. Then once I'm done feeding those raptors' wings and legs to the Rexes, I'm gonna feed the Rexes to an eel. Yeah.
And then when it's all done, I'm gonna use the raptor's bodies as a pillow, cause this is very uncomfortable.
Hello. So, how is everybody liking Hatzegopteryx? I know it's only been about 2 days, but I am also very sure that it's like Marmite. You either love it or you hate it. And usually the people who hate it, I'm guessing that they've been jumped on by like 7 hats. It's kind of just like the Raptor update, but instead, this time, they can fly. But always ends up with the same conclusion that you cannot get away from them, especially when there's a lot of them. And they have quite the arsenal to really cause problems. But for those who have not really taken to playing this giant flap, I have just, I guess, my thoughts on it, and kind of what I'm looking at whenever I use it. So, let's get to it, I guess. Actually, before I end up going into this, I am not going to be comparing this to Quetz, because I don't think mods and officials should be compared. So, Hatz is a little bit different from quite a lot of other playables in the game, since it actually has to decide its build based on what it wants to target. Example being what I am showing right here, I just call it the baby dropper build. The only things I really want you to look at is just the head slot, just because that's the only thing that really matters. The rest of, the build, whatever like that, just do what you like with it. Just mess around, see what you like and what you don't like, and then play that how you will. So as you can see right there, I have peck, barrage, and grab equipped. It's kind of a simple concept. There's 2 ways you can go about it. You could either grab whatever you want, fly up with it and drop it, like everybody loves to do, or you could just walk over to the water, place it in water, and then peck barrage it. Kind of the same thing as Apexes have been doing for ages, luring us into the water and then killing us. Here's a little demonstration. Just walking around. There were some Spinos behind me, and then there's a little baby Dasp trying to nip at my ankles, but just grab it and fly away with it. Now, the Spinos were not too happy, as they were watching their friend possibly get their just desserts, as they truly deserved. But, out of generosity, I kinda decided just to drop them in the water. I thought, yeah, maybe you'll actually learn not to bite a Hatzegopteryx without a slick hide on, in which is getting nerfed in the next update, and I cannot wait. And so the next combination we're going to have a little look at has got to be more of a solo generalist kind of combination. And as you see right there, we have the peck and the stab. The peck, mainly, I usually pick to defend myself against other Hatzegopteryx. I know we've all had our run-ins with being attacked by them, even if you are a hatz yourself. But as we all know, usually whenever we get attacked by other hats, it's always ones using the peck barrage, which can only be used on the ground. Just take to the air, make sure you don't touch the ground again, and if they try to follow you, just peck them mid-air. Easy damage, win. And the stab I like to use to help others who are struggling against apexes. I know stab may say low damage, but doing 100 damage, pretty much 8-shotting an EO or a Rex, yeah, that's not low damage. So, I know what you're thinking. 100 damage, 8-shotting an EO or a Rex? Before you call it OP, this thing cannot do that solo, and that would only be really significant if there was about 3 or 4 hats. The thing really holding hats back from just killing everything without any effort at all is the acceleration, in which it gets up to top speed extremely slowly and cannot take off into the sky until it is at pretty much top speed. Combining that with Path of Titan's Collision ends up making Hatz feel like it is made of Velcro whenever it tries to fight anything like an Apex. You go to hit it, and then you just get glued to it. And we all know that song and dance. You try to run away, you can't get away fast enough, and, well, you just die. Anyway, I went on quite the huge tangent there. I think we just need to get into the actual clip of which this build was based around. Oh well, here we go. And here is the other example of, say, if you wanted to help someone out, whoever is fighting an apex. There were a few hats in the crater fighting a bunch of stuff, and since there was an apex over at the water, I thought I could peck them. But, yeah, you know that whole thing that I always say, good intentions with bad outcomes? Well, whereas I could just fly right above the Rex and peck it, from above, which is quite difficult to do, by the way, this other hatz will not stop barrel rolling it and risking, dropping me into the water where I would die to the Rex, in which they are trying to help. It's just that, they're not reading the situation, where I've been trying to peck it. But we have got to remember that that is pretty common when there's no communication. But as soon as I saw that they had run out of stamina, that meant that I could actually do something, without the risk of just being dropped into the water and eaten. Now, doing this is quite tricky, as you kind of have to get just within reach, or just out of reach. It's very tricky, just because the camera on Hatzegopteryx is very far away. But as you can see, you can actually bite them or peck them while still flying, and if they start swimming, it's even easier. What I did to kind of try and help make this a little bit easier to do, or learn the distance from, I guess, is zoom in a little bit. So right here, I ended up asking someone if they could just stand still, just so I could, test how close or far away you had to be. But zooming in certainly helps for doing that. I guess you can look at the back legs of your hats whenever you're doing it. That should help the distance. And now for the last one. This is not really going to be about the build, it's more just about one ability. This ability is ridiculous. It is pretty much like Zuko's Claw Barrage or Raptor Strikes, but it stacks up faster than anything, and then has insane damage on top of it. Of course, if you're an Apex, you're reducing damage anyway, but to anything your size, well, yeah, you just absolutely shred things. It's ridiculous, and it is very much kind of being used as a crutch ability. But there is one very big weakness to it, for you to abuse if you are a hatz yourself and you're fighting someone using it. What you do is you fly and you hit them with peck. If you didn't have peck, you wouldn't be fighting a hatz. So, while you watch them just spamming that on the ground, you're in the air, just going a little boop, boop, and then they chase after you, trying to barrel roll you, and then you peck them again. But yeah, this is pretty much one of those abilities where you run into any old big fight, just spamming this thing away, and stuff is gonna hurt. Either it's gonna hurt or just die. But now the question here is, what does hatz seem to struggle with the most? I 110% have got to say that would have to be the raptors. There is zero counterplay you can do to deal with raptors, other than just run away and get the bleed off and never come back within their line of sight again. Your only real way to deal with raptors is either, dunk them in the water and then kill them that way, or you just don't encounter raptors. Because they pounce you, they deal tons of bleed. You can look at the health bar right there. Or you just don't encounter them, and then you're fine. Go find something else to, interact with. And so, from playing this solo and collecting footage for it, this has been the most difficult solo playable to actually play. Mainly due to reasons as stated previously in the video. Things such as the acceleration, the collision, that really sets it back really badly. And kind of pushes it so that it needs a group to be able to do anything substantial. It can sustain itself extremely easy by, traveling around the map, scavenging corpses, eating babies, we all we all enjoy that, don't we? But, I mean, what can I say? Sometimes you want to try and punch up, don't you? But this thing cannot do it solo. The reasons I stated before are the reason why. So, the next clip coming up is basically the last thing I did for that day. And I had my mic going, and, well, let's just say I hope you all enjoy. Oh look, there's a fucking... It's a raptor, of course. Fuck off. Oh, I see. Fuck off with your uncounterable shit. Yeah, I'm taking this fucking trophy. Oh. But now I have a feeling I'm going to be followed by Hatz. And they're going to kill me. Get whatever stamina I can and run. Get whatever stamina I can and run. I have had an absolute nightmare today. I have had an absolute fucking nightmare today. I just came in, did a bunch of damage, grabbed a fucking trophy, and left. I've had enough of playing this today solo. Steal a trophy, I'm the one who killed it. Screw you. All they do is steal a trophy. Fuck off, I killed it. I yoinked a kill and took my trophy, took my prize. This is mine. I earned it. Is that all Hatz is? Is just as simple as just run in and spam peck barrage? Because if so, I want peck barrage just nerfed, and I want its Hatzegopteryx's acceleration buffed. Lower the damage, increase the acceleration. I don't even care about the speed or the turning. Increase that acceleration, please.